What's up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian from House of Wrestling. This is my review for the July 22nd episode of AEW Collision. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notifications so that you're notified when the House of Wrestling drops its latest content. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. So, tonight's AEW Dynamite Collision. Forgive me, guys. Man, this was a fun episode, man. Each week of AEW Collision, I look forward to it because you're gonna have that one match that's gonna be, man, great wrestling, and throughout the whole card, you're gonna get some really good wrestling matches, and it's just nice pacing. It's fun. Like I said before, with it airing on a Saturday, and depending on if the weather's or it's an overcast or something like that. So far, because we are in the summer months and everything. It's just to kick back, relax, and just watch some wrestling. And this is so much fun. And this episode was so fun. The opening segment was amazing with Ricky Starks coming out and his excessive pyros and, you know, basically the crowd cheering that he cheated to defeat CM Punk and Punk coming out and confronting him. And you had Luchasaurus and Christian Cage and Darby Allin. Then you get a main event out of all that. And this was a really good show, and I like that there is this strong distinction between Collision and Dynamite as the weeks go on. And I believe, okay, was it the 17th? So I believe this is I believe last week 15th? So yeah, between last week's episode and this week's episode of Collision, it's already a month that Collision has aired, and so far it's gotten great reviews, and this episode really added to it, and there were subtle things that, how to put it, they mentioned without mentioning, if that makes sense for you guys that are watching this review. But I'll go more into detail about it because there are so many things that they set up without saying that they set it up, that we're starting to get an idea of what's going to be possibly the main event match at All In and All Out. That's pretty cool, but nothing's official yet or anything like that. But man, tonight's episode, man, it was fun. You had the House of Black. They defeated the Acclaimed. I'll go into what Billy Gunn did with his boots. Taya Valkyrie defeated Sky Blue and her calling out Britt Baker. Go into that. You had Jay White and Juice Robinson defeat Action Andretti and Darius Martin. Man, I like that tag team of Darius and Action Andretti. Like, there's something there. I know that Darius and Dante, they're a tag team and everything, but it's something unique and cool with Action Andretti and Darius Martin. It's almost like they're identical as far as wrestling styles. It's pretty interesting. And then we had Miro defeat Nick Camarado, which easily, that was easy. So yeah, you had that take place tonight. But man, let me get into the Ricky Starks. This was pretty much the Ricky Starks show. And what I mean by that, this episode of Collision was primarily, it started off, recapping of what happened last week. And then throughout the episode, it just transitioned into where Ricky Starks is going to go. And I like the line that Rhea Nikabani said at the end of the main event: once is an accident, twice is a pattern. So that's something to really think about with Ricky Starks as he goes forward and as he has the Owen Hart Championship, that and his Louis Vuitton bag and his Prada shoes. And oh man, this is fun, man. This is fun. I know a few people don't care too much for Ricky Starks being a heel, and I wouldn't necessarily say he's a heel. I would definitely say that he's a tweener, because the crowd was cheering for him. They were chanting Ricky in the beginning, even in the main event, which wound up being CM Punk and Darby versus Christian Cage and Ricky Starks. So I mean, he's more of a tweener. But man, he had an excessive pyro that he always has, like big pyro going in, but it just kept on going and going and going. It was like, okay, this is like exaggerating. And it just seems like Ricky Starks is going into that area of being somewhat of a tweener that exaggerates a lot of things that most people don't exaggerate. So it's going to be interesting. I can see why people don't want Ricky Starks to turn heel because it's like, man, he really didn't get a good run as a face. And I can agree to some extent of that because it's like, okay, it was kind of lackluster. But with this change and with him working with Christian Cage against Darby Allin, against CM Punk, that's some good stuff to really build up his heel character. Whereas, his initial run in AEW as a heel was primarily with Team Taz going around in circles with Brian Cage and then Powerhouse Hobbs and that whole thing. So this is really cool where he's at that next level as if you want to say, if some people see him as a heel, I see him as a tweener, but he's at that next level now. So that's really cool. But yeah, he had excessive pyro. The crowd was chanting, "You deserve it." And as Tony Schiavone's interviewing him to open up the show, CM Punk comes out with no music, just walks to the ring. He confronts him. He's like, the only way you can beat CM Punk is by cheating. And this is something that people really need to hone in on. And this is one of the things that I was saying earlier as far as they were telling you without telling you. And CM Punk mentioned that he is the real world champion. Frankly, he never lost the title. He surrendered it, because of everything that happened at All Out last year. And of course, Ricky was talking about what he had in the red bag and everything. So you have CM Punk drop that line, "I am the real world champion." Next week, you're getting FTR versus MJF and Adam Cole. We could get a confrontation between CM Punk and MJF next week. Mark my words, we could be getting a MJF CM Punk confrontation next week on Collision. And in the middle is Adam Cole. So there's something that, granted, the way it's presented is like, oh, the tag team of MJF and Adam Cole, that's cool. And then we have CM Punk and Ricky Starks, blah, blah, blah. But it's like AEW's kind of doing this magician trick where you're looking at the left hand, but you're not paying attention to the right hand. And it's like, oh, wait, is it going to go that way? Like, oh, so I don't know. We could get that could be the all out pay-per-view or main event, MJF CM Punk. And Adam Cole, or it could just be MJF defend his title at all Out, CM Punk defend his title at All In, and then at Grand Slam we get a unification match. That could be something. I know I just read that before I got on, so I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. So there's a lot of theories that are going on, but a lot of them are very logical. So it's pretty much heading into the direction that we are going to get an MJF CM Punk confrontation soon, and Adam Cole will be involved in some capacity with that. So that's really interesting. And of course, in the main event, Ricky Starks grabbed the ropes to defeat Darby Allin and CM Punk, and Ian Riccaboni with the famous line, "Once is an accident, twice is a pattern." Something to live by. It's really cool saying by Ian Riccaboni. But man, that main event was tremendous. I recommend you guys watch it. Of course, there was a few spots that were kind of clunky, but overall, man, this was a very entertaining match. Ricky healed up. The beginning of the match was really interesting because you see Christian Cage and Ricky Starks talk, and they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna go in? Yeah, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll go in. Yeah, okay." And both of them go on the outside of the rope, and the ref is counting 1, 2, 3. He gets to 9, and Ricky rushes in before they get counted out and everything. I've never seen that before. That was funny. That was entertaining. That was hilarious. Yeah, this main event was something to see and witness. Darby Allin, man, that guy is quick as a cat in the ring, man. The stuff that he he's been doing lately in the ring, man, is just, man, he's taking his arsenal to another level, which is so damn cool. And man, this was fun. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with Darby going after. Okay, Christian Cage isn't technically the TNT champion, Luchasaurus is, but Christian Cage walks around with the TNT title as if he's the champion. So it's going to be interesting to see that match take place at All Out and in Chicago, might add. And what's going to happen with CM Punk, Ricky Starks, and MJF and Adam Cole, how that's going to play out. Very interesting to see all those things possibly happen in AEW. And mind you, this is from this episode. It's just, again, like I said, AEW is kind of doing this magician trick where you're looking at the left hand, but you're not paying attention to the right hand. And they've been notorious for doing that for good reason. You had, Andrade Idolo. He was prevented from entering the arena because of the mask situation with House of Black. And it was interesting seeing House of Black and Malachi Black shaved his beard. Like, it was like, yo, what, yo, what? That was a really cool tag team match, or trios match between the House of Black and the Acclaimed. It was really fast paced and intense. My favorite part of the match was as Max Caster is giving his rap and he's talking about he's going by one, and then he gets to Buddy Matthews, and Buddy Matthews just sprints out the ring and just gives him a running knee and just starts attacking him, and they just start attacking the Acclaim like crazy. I love that because I was like, okay, this is how the House of Black should respond, not like they just came out and just beat the crap out of the Acclaimed. Really intense match. Brody gave Billy Gunn a nasty clothesline. Malachi gave him a spinning kick. 1, 2, 3. They win, and you see Malachi whisper something to Billy Gunn. You see Brody King whisper something to Billy Gunn, and then you have Buddy Matthews whisper something to Billy Gunn. They leave, and the camera stays on Billy Gunn, and he's taking off his left boot, takes off his right boot, puts it in the middle of the ring, and then walks away. And at first, it's like, maybe it's just, part of the story. It could be part of the story. I could be wrong. But the way Anthony Bowens and Max Caster were reacting, it was like, did Billy Gunn, like, just retire? Like, did Billy Gunn, like, really retire right now? In the middle of the ring? Like, really? Did he really retire? And good job by Ian Riccaboni and Nigel McGuinness for really playing that up. They were just really somber after that Billy Gunn leaving his boots in the ring, and they were just really somber. And they went into let me check my notes. They went into a video package of the Royal Rampage. So it was just like really interesting how they go from this somber moment, and they carry the somberness going into the Royal Rampage highlights, and then after the highlights, then their mood picked up. I really like that they play like continuity. Like, I love that, and that's something about Collision that has it's been getting this reputation of being consistent and continuity, fluidity, and just great pacing and everything. Yeah, it's Billy Gunn is, I guess he's retired. Nothing's been official yet as the time of this recording. I haven't seen Twitter or anything like that. If there's been anything tweeted or anything like that, are the Acclaim going to get a third person in their group? What's going to happen? I don't know. We just got to stay tuned. Like I said for the Dynamite episode, that Collision, like AEW has these little cliffhangers where you're just like, man, I don't know, like, man, what's gonna happen? Like, with CM Punk mentioning, hey, I'm the Real World Champion, like, oh wait, so is MJF gonna confront him next week when they have the tag match in Hartford, Connecticut? Like, is that gonna happen? Did Billy Gunn retire? Um, is Andrade and Buddy Matthews, it's a ladder match. Is Andrade going to get his mask, or is there going to be something foolish in House of Blackish that prevents him from getting it? So it's really interesting that this is occurring. Very intriguing television. I mean, the simplicity of it is very, um, to the point, but yet at the same time, as it's uh, there is some simplicity. There is also a balance of intrigue where it's like, okay, this is okay, his mask, but it's like, ooh, okay, where's this gonna go? Like, is he gonna get the mask? Are we gonna see LFI return? Like, is this going to be, House of Black is not gonna be at ringside? So, like, how is this gonna play out? Like, this balance, simplicity, and intrigue. I like that. Another thing that really stood out to me for this episode of AEW Collision, and I've noticed this since the first episode when I watched it back because I was actually at the first AEW Collision, recapping significant events and actually showing the footage. This has been one of the issues that a lot of people had issues with AEW in years past, where when AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, things happen, they would just have a ticker. They wouldn't actually show what happened. It wasn't until before, I would say this year, leading up to them, canceling Dark and Elevation, that they would actually recap some stuff that happened on uh, those shows. So I really like that. They recapped Willow winning the On tournament and then recapping her match against Athena last night at Ring of Honor, which has gotten rave reviews. I still have to watch that match and check it out and everything. They recapped Blood and Guts, Royal Rampage, and then there was a highlight package of FTR since they arrived in AEW. So there's just these video packages are really punctual to the point, and they're so fluid in the show where it doesn't feel like it's redundant. It just feels like, oh, this happened last week, so that's why this is happening this week. Very simplistic, intriguing. Like, oh, okay, and it's very fluid and everything. Very good job for AEW and Mike Mansory on doing that. FTR pretty much sent the message to Adam Cole, and that was don't trust MJF. Cash Wheeler, do you guys remember the Pinnacle? So they played that up and everything. And one of the things when he gave his promo, I was just thinking, it was just a random thought, and I was like, man, what if Adam Cole turns on MJF and Adam Cole and FTR form a faction? Ooh, with Roderick Strong. Ooh, that would be so interesting. Ooh, Adam Cole with FTR. That would be so good. But no, it was a really good promo. Um, you know, that uh, Dax pretty much went into detail as far as um, the comedy, the dance break, and he mentions all the injuries that I've had. Like he mentions in detail the injuries that he had. He's like all those injuries just to make FTR one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Um, we're gonna give them, an ass kicking and everything. So it was a really good promo by both FTR. It got to the point it sold the match and why they don't like MJF. And going into this match, they really presented like, hey, we respect Adam Cole, MJF. We're in a faction with you. We don't trust you. It's all about you. You're lying. You're a hypocrite. You are up to no good. You're cunning. We don't trust you. So they really, with just the promos they gave, really laid that out for next week's tag match for the AEW Tag Team titles. From there, you had Taya Valkyrie call out Britt Baker. And she mentioned, again, subtle things. We're looking at the left hand, not looking at the right hand. She name drops the Outcast. She name drops homegrown talent. So it's something that we got to pay attention to because most of her losses in AEW, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, comment below, but she's lost to a lot of homegrown talent, but never lost to the Outcast. So forgive me if I have it mixed up or anything. Forgive me, guys. Comment below. You guys see what I'm going. It does appear, and it would make a lot of sense if Taya Valkyrie joins the Outcast. Reason being, and a lot of people don't. Maybe a lot of people don't know this or anything like that. So Taya Valkyrie, in a calendar year, she has been the Knockouts Tag Team Champion. She has been the MLW Featherweight Champion, which is their women's championship. She has been the Reina del Rey Champion in AAA. There was another championship she was holding not too long ago. I think it was Defy or something like that. She held another championship. So she does kind of fit the Outcast, and she did come from WWE. She was in NXT. Granted, I know some people, well, semantics, and she wasn't in WWE. She was in NXT. So you have that. So it does feel like she fits with the Outcast, and especially the way the promo she gave tonight, like it was very on the heelish side, very overly confident, sarcastic, snarky to Britt Baker, and her last words were, come play with me, Britt." And it's like, okay. So maybe this Wednesday we have a new addition to the Outcast, which I wouldn't mind. I am looking forward to where this women's division is going to go, as we go into All In and All Out. There is rumblings that some things are in store for the women's division. So I'm looking forward to seeing that because there's so much talent, there's so much potential with that division, and it just feels like when there's something momentum going, there's an injury that throws it, or some wacky matchmaking that kind of like, well, why is this? And then, this person, you don't see him for a while and then they come back, but then, the momentum's not the same. Like, it's just real discombobulated. There you go. That's the perfect word for how the women's division has been presented in AEW. But I'm really looking forward to Taya Valkyrie versus Britt Baker next week on Dynamite. They mention, give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. The matches. Give me 1 second, guys. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what they are going to do with this AEW women's division. I was talking about this ironically yesterday on my TikTok live stream, and yeah, it's just like, man. So yeah, next week we're gonna have FTR and MJF and Adam Cole for the AEW Tag Team Championship. Then we're getting a trios match. This one looks pretty interesting. So we're getting Vikingo with Action Andretti, Darius Martin versus the Gun Club and Juice Robinson. Of course, we're getting Buddy Matthews and Andrade in a ladder match. That should be really fun. Then for Dynamite, we're getting Orange Cassidy and AR Fox for the AEW International Championship. We're getting Darby Allin and Swerve Strickland. That should be dope. We're getting, again, like I said, Britt Baker and Taya Valkyrie. And then we're getting, a triple threat tag team match with Claudio and Moxley versus the Lucha Bros versus the Best Friends. So that's going to be pretty solid for AEW going into next week. But yeah, overall, this episode, like I said, man, this was a fun episode of AEW Collision. The way it's like, for me, what they've done a pretty good job doing with these collisions, they've really done a really good job of starting the show, and then once it's almost like they plant their flag. This is how we're starting the show, and then they just build off of that, and just the pacing and everything, and just it's like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Like, it's very, man, so good. And it's, I'm, as weeks go by, I'm starting to understand and see why so many people who are so critical of Dynamite enjoy Collision. And I enjoy both Dynamite and Collision, but man, Collision just has it feels like a different promotion. It does not feel like it's an AEW promotion. It feels like it's run by someone else. It's weird. Um, but at the same time, you know what? It's actually a pretty cool thing that AEW has built, the term I always use for, most professional wrestling companies, a complementary alternative to Dynamite. Really cool. And what I've liked about Collision so far, and tonight, no exception in New Jersey and everything, with the exception of like a group that Dasha didn't acknowledge and they were like very rowdy and everything, which has been reported on Twitter and everything. The crowds are always energetic. And I mentioned this on the first episode of Collision when I gave the review. I'm like, it's Saturday. People don't have to go to work the next day. Um, you know, they can chill, right after Dynamite. They're probably going to somebody's house, or they're probably going to hang out at a bar and grill or something like that, or go to a night spot or something like that just to chill, have fun. So there's this it's almost like this party atmosphere. Like, hey, we're here, we're going to have some fun. And then afterwards, yeah, we're going to do our thing. So I think that's what AEW Collision has for it, that is just fun to be at on a Saturday. And once they start adding more things to this show, and by things, these really intricate storylines, and as we get closer to All In, and then we get to All Out, and then we get to Grand Slam, we're going to see some really cool things in AEW. I'm looking forward to it. And man, this is fun because we're getting some really cool stuff from WWE. We're getting some really cool stuff from Impact. We're getting some cool stuff from Wild Women Wrestling, New Japan, AAA, CMLL. Like, we're getting these really cool things from all these promotions that it's just like, man, pro wrestling is fun. So that is my review for the July 22nd episode of AEW Collision. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notifications so that you're notified when the House of Wrestling drops its latest content. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, folks, man, enjoy professional wrestling. We got a lot of good wrestling coming up with SummerSlam. I know Impact has a pay-per-view, AEW, and everything that's going on with Collision and Dynamites and the BCC and that whole thing. But man, this is fun. So enjoy it, have fun, and man, let's see what happens next week. So with that,